before we get going, I just want to say I thought that our fans did a great job Saturday. I just wanted to thank the 12th man, and our team wanted to thank the 12th man in a situation, kind of a double jeopardy deal, where the forecast was not good for Saturday, and you got an early game at 11 o'clock. And Friday night when you went to bed, the weather was even worse. So we had a great crowd Saturday that even though it was a little late getting there, we understand that based on the weather and the time, but was really, really loud and I think really affected the game. And we're going to need that again this weekend. So just wanted to say thank you, and we appreciate that. We don't take that for granted. As you look across the country at attendance, our fans are as great as anybody. So, questions?
Right there, Gabe.
Coach, what more did the tape tell you about Kyler's performance, and how might he continue to expand inside the offense?
Well, I think what was important, it wasn't just about Kyler, it was about the other 10 guys on the field at the time. I thought that we got to remember that he hasn't been here very long. That was the most he's played. It was his first complete game. Now that's on video. People are going to start to watch, and particularly this week with Will Muschamp, who's been around, is going to, now that you have a resume of more than just maybe running around and being a situational player, we've got tendencies that we've got to look at. So, I thought the way we operated at the tempo we operated for the three quarters was effective. I thought our players did a good job with that. Kyler's comfortable in that setting. Our receivers, when the ball was not accurate, made plays, in particular Ricky Seals-Jones and Josh Reynolds, which helped us. So, it was he was effective, but also I thought our guys played a little bit better on the perimeter and made catches and hung on to the ball. And we were able to run the ball effectively with Trey Carson. So that doesn't happen without an offensive line that was able to really, for the most part, I thought, play their best game up front this year.
Go to the back left, KO.
Coach, in that vein, is the quarterback position still a competition week to week, or is
No.
completely settled?
No, we're Kyler's going to start this game.
Other questions? To the left, Cease.
A follow-up to Kevin, then with him getting the lion's share, how does Jake and Kyle move forward?
Well, we'll see. There will be some. They'll share the reps this week, and then based on what happens there, we'll see what happens at that position. Who the next guy is in the game. And reality was, just like we said, you don't plan on your quarterback's helmet coming off in the middle of a series. If it does, it's usually a really wicked hit, and you've got time to get snaps with a guy, do whatever. And basically, we need a quarterback, and I think Kyle's helmet was on the bench, and Jake was standing there close and just ran in the game for one snap and came back out. They're going to continue, with the way it's set up. Kyle's going to get a lot of snaps, which he needs, which, like I said last week, we had to make that decision on Thursday just so he would get, the majority of the snaps, just about all the snaps in between Thursday and Friday's practice before Saturday. And with a week now, he's going to get the lion's share because he needs them. And the other two guys will rotate, and then we'll figure out, at the end of the week where we are with where Jake and Kyle are.
Go down front, Brent.
A lot of us, watch Kyler play, and the comparison is made to Johnny. But is that not necessarily fair to Kyler at this point? Because Johnny had been in this program for a year and a half before he ever took the field. In terms of Kyler going out there playing as a true freshman, and what do you think of that comparison?
I don't think I don't think it's fair to compare. Everybody asks me about quarterbacks we've had. We never compare them. Everybody's their own guy. Obviously, because he plays here at Texas A&M, that's going to be a comparison. But I don't think it's fair. I really don't. I think each guy has his own skill set. Each guy's a little bit different. The idea is to be successful at the position and be consistent at the position, and whatever that is. So now, they're two different guys, that's whether fair or unfair, that's for you guys to decide. I just, we don't talk to Kyler in terms of anything about Johnny, he's got his own things to deal with. A veteran defensive coordinator, another SEC team. He's got video now and things that people can see in minute ways of his strengths and weaknesses, and so we've got to bolster his weaknesses, help him with our plan, like we've tried to do, and get our other 10 guys involved to really not put the game on his shoulders, and I think that was exactly what happened last week, and he was a beneficiary of other 10 guys on the field playing, I thought, pretty well. So. And he did a good job operationally, and he's got talent, and I think everybody can see that.
Go to the left, Chip.
Kevin, how much he was sliding before he got hit on Saturday, how much of that was emphasized before the game, and how much of that was his own instincts?
That's what he needs to do.
Yeah. I mean, so he was told, hey,
Yes.
don't take a lot of hits, basically, or
No,
if
we
you
want
avoid it.
we want him to get hit all the time. What do you think? Told him to go out there and just try to run over everybody.
A guy who's competitive
No,
like that.
he's competitive. He's a baseball player too.
Yeah.
He instinctively that's who he is. He's not going to run around out there. He's not the biggest guy in the world. He doesn't need to take a lot of hits, and so I think early in the year you saw that, and he's always been that guy. And I think also if you get your helmet ripped off, you got a big scrape across your face, that'll wake you up too. That maybe I don't need to take a bunch of these hits. I'm not just about everybody out here is bigger than me. So bad things can happen, and I thought he was smart and poised to be able to handle that in those situations. You really, probably could have scored once or twice if he stuck his head in there, but had confidence to get the ball down there and let us continue to run plays.
Go to the back, Colin on the right.
Hey, you've brought up a couple of times, now that they have film on him, things that they might try to take away. In practice, what are you maybe preparing him for, to recognize the things that they're going to take away, or are you just kind of, helping, just wanting him to do what he does the best that he does?
Is there?
I don't understand the question.
I poorly worded, I know. I guess what.
They'll coach him up. How's that? What do you think? Or go ahead, Colin.
Every week we go into the week with a plan, and there's video on both opponents. You try to get a feel for what you think's going to happen. You try to get a feel for what may be best for your team, might not be what's best for your offense to handle, and so we're going to try to give him the tools that are necessary for him to be successful and for our offense to be successful. And it's also about the other people on the field, what they can handle, and matchups, things like that. And so, people think of matchups, most people start thinking about the perimeter and playing, but in this league, matchups become interiorly. This is a team that's Carl Lawson is starting to come back, who is one of the elite players in this league as a pass rusher. He has been that guy. They've got some big guys up front. We've got to look at what we're doing, how we're doing it up front from a matchup standpoint and across the board, and put our guys in a favorable position, which we did last week. And that's what really the plan's about, not just about Kyler, but about everybody on the field from a matchup standpoint.
Go to the left, Cease.
Kevin, where's your confidence level right now with Taylor Burlett after missing that field goal to start the game?
He's been pretty good. for the year. We've kicked more field goals this year than we have in the first couple three. I think we averaged maybe 11, 12, or 13 field goals over the last 3 years. We've kicked more field goals. We've kicked him a lot more. I think he missed one early. He's made some big ones for us. But we still have a lot of confidence in Taylor. I think he's had a solid year. Everybody was worried about coming in this year if he was going to make any field goals based on the way it was beforehand. But he's made some big field goals for us. He continues to kick off and do some things for us that are. I think he's been solid. The kicking game will be big this week. So it's just because, this team, you look at them inside the numbers, it's amazing. In these games, there have only been 9 kicks returned. I think 5 kickoff returns out of these 7 or 8 games, and 4 punt returns. So they've got a strong kicker, and they're 4th nationally in kickoff return. I saw Quan Bray last night playing for the Colts. I'm happy he's gone, but they're still good. They're 4th in the country in kickoff return. We've only returned 5 kickoffs and 4 punts. So they got a really, really strong kicker and punter, and a strong return game, and that's where I think the inside the numbers, that's where the hidden yardage is going to be in this game. Special teams will be big in this football game. You look at their record; they've lost a lot of one-score games. Games that could have gone either way in the last 6-7 minutes of the ball game. And special teams have been a big part of keeping them in there. Sean White is coming on, had his best game last week. A guy that we know a lot about, thought a lot of during Elite 11. He's just in time for us. He's warming up, and they get Carl Lawson back. So, they got a lot to play for, as do we. And it's kind of interesting. I think the visitor, we've played, the visitors won the game. Whether we've gone over there twice and they've come here. So, it's they're not going to be intimidated coming in here. They've got their players back, and they played very, very well, I thought, last week against Ole Miss, getting all these guys back. So we got to be ready to go. We're going to get their best shot.
We'll go Olin and then Darrell in the back.
Kevin, understanding that you felt like the offensive line had its best game, but I was wondering, in your opinion, how much do you think Kyler's presence was a factor in Trey Carson's good game, strong performance that he had?
What do you mean by presence?
Being out there helping run some of the playing quarterback, running some of the reads and opening up opportunities, perhaps?
Yeah, I think it had something to do with it, putting pressure on the perimeter a little bit, and maybe his ability, obviously the touchdown was a factor with pulling it and getting inside, getting in the end zone. I think, his ability to get to the perimeter certainly didn't hurt us at all, and maybe loosen some things up inside. But like I said, similar to Auburn sees that all the time, in practice. Gus Malzahn has been, always has been, really, really good at running the ball and finding a power running scheme. Even though it looks like spread offense, it is a spread offense, but a power running scheme that attacks both the interior and the perimeter. So they see that in practice, and we've got to be able to have some adjustments ourselves based on what we're doing. But certainly his ability to get to the perimeter and put pressure on the edges certainly didn't hurt us last week.
Darrell in the back.
Coach, you talked a little bit about Sean White. Can you also talk about a couple of their other offensive weapons in Ricardo Lewis and Peyton Barber? Just I guess, the weapons and the ability those guys have to be able to score when they touch the ball?
Yeah, they've it's everything comes off of if you watch Auburn, they really want to be a power run team. So their backs and the way they've been able to handle it with quarterbacks as being part of the run game and the power run game, whether it's inside or getting an extra blocker on the perimeter to help them. And run with not just a read but a blocker out there to block support has been very, very effective for them. And once you commit, 8, 9 guys up there to try to get that thing stopped, and their big plays come off of play action, and they've got the guys always have. You look through the recruiting rankings, they're right up there at the top. They've got a lot of talented players on the perimeter that have that have big playability. And so, Sean White was a guy that, like I said, that we thought a lot of during the Elite 11. Not surprised at how he has come on this year, and has the ability to be consistent in the passing game, but also off a play fake. He's got a strong enough arm to get the ball downfield. They got guys to go get it. So, it's just like anything else. What hurt us Saturday, where we gave up 4 big plays for almost 200 yards out of those 4 big plays. We've got to shore up our run defense, but we've got to eliminate big plays and keep the ball in front of us, make them earn everything, contest balls in the passing game, and try to create turnovers. I thought if our defense hung in there, created the turnovers, but we've got to eliminate the big plays, and particularly against an offense like this.
We'll go down front, Brent, and then Sam, you'll wrap us up.
That was my question on creating turnovers. There's been such a difference for y'all this year. And in particular, is there an art to forcing a fumble, or is that art just really aided by having a guy like Myles Garrett? As a former linebacker, how do you go about forcing a fumble?
Well, we put an emphasis on it, on turnover margin from the beginning. And we meet every Tuesday. We talk about penalties and turnovers, and that's why in our 2 losses, that's what's been so disappointing. Everything else in our games the other games, it's gone pretty well in those areas. We had some outliers in our 2 losses, and I think our guys understand that. We only had 3 penalties Saturday, and they were +2 in the turnover margin. We've put a real emphasis on it defensively and going about it. And I also think that. And I know that the emphasis of running to the ball with a purpose. We've got more guys to the football, even with missed tackles. Guys are there, but when the ball gets loose, we've got more guys around it to get there, and those are effort plays. And so that's why I've been pleased with our effort, and offensively and defensively. But we go through, like a lot of people, a turnover circuit, but there's also a special emphasis that's been put on that, and it's had an effect in a lot of our games, and positively, and in a couple games negatively. And so I think our players understand the importance of it. There's some guys that do it better than others. That's what they say. He's got a nose for a ball. No, usually that guy is playing harder than everybody else. And guys like Myles Garrett, guys like Donovan Wilson, who just find their way in those situations. That's not a coincidence. Guys like that or understand, they study tape, they know what's happening, and they play with a high level of effort that puts them in those positions to make those types of plays.
Sam, you'll wrap us up.
Kevin, you mentioned big plays in the running game defensively allowed. How do you guys eliminate those, and where do you think your run defense is right now coming off this game?
Well, we've got to get better, and I think that's been an issue the last couple of weeks. We, like you said, I think you take those 4 plays and 180 some yards in 4 plays. That's too much. We've got to have a way to do that. We're working on that. Communication becomes an important part of what we're doing. Every time we simplify it, it gets better for us, for the players out there. but we've got to be able to communicate better. And our whole talk about different things were, at home, it's great for our offense. And we had the meeting yesterday. I said, no, we're not going to tell the crowd to quiet down when they're on defense. We love that crowd, but we've got to be able to communicate better on defense. Just like on the road, offensively, we've got to be able to communicate better on offense on the road. So that's part of football. And, I think that our guys, we're talking about that now and what that communication represents and how that happens. And obviously the three guys in the back end are playing like crazy, and it's a second level with the linebackers and where they're fitting and how they're doing that based on what's happening with shifts and motions and things like that have created some issues for us. But that's all communication, and we've got to improve there.
All right, Coach, thanks.
All right, thank you.